What's good, y'all? Let's talk about Marathon, Bungie's brand new game. It is an extraction shooter which lets you go into a map, find some loot, fight players and AI, and get out. And now, that's the definition. If you don't know about the genre, we're not here to talk about that. Welcome to all my viewers. This video is going to be my impressions of the alpha. I have about 30 plus hours. I also have loved Bungie's previous games, so I'm kind of biased and excited about them bringing back a series that they had 3 games for. That universe is amazing, Marathon's universe, and I am going to talk about it briefly and discuss my opinions on what the game is doing. I think it's important to kind of bring that up as well, because there is a lot of things with this game that they're doing that could be good or bad depending on your personal preference. And hopefully this can help you decide if you're going to try it out. I will say they have an alpha right now, and then they're going to be doing betas. The developer said they'll have another test later, so make sure you stay tuned to them, whatever social media or Discord or wherever you want to stay in touch with them, so that you can sign up for that, because I prefer people to try it out for themselves, because not everything is for everybody. This is a mixed bag of PvE and PvP, and it has extremely unique elements that makes it special for those who are interested in that type of experience. This isn't the groundbreaking new game, right? They're not revolutionizing the genre, but they are adding some twists and some things that I can see that really can intrigue people. So we're gonna get into it, and I want to kind of start off by discussing my opinions overall and kind of give my feel. I give this game a solid 8, right? It's an alpha, so it's not an official review, but if I had to score it, I'll give it an 8. They have high quality aspects. Like, if you just said this was a final game, it's very well made, right? And it has quality gunplay, absolutely. The movement's pretty good. The AI's decent. The PvP can be really exciting at times. The universe is special and the story's good as well. Like, there's a lot to like about this game. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's for you. So there's that. And I don't want people to kind of think that I'm pushing or pulling you on the side, because I never do that with any type of videos I make. I don't own these games, right? I'm not earning anything. So I just sharing this from my experience and my perspective. And if you disagree, feel free to leave it in the comments, because I think it's very cool to kind of get into talks, even if with my friends or family. If we disagree, it's not a big deal. Just so you guys know, I know gamers are a little hardcore, but it ain't that serious. And you don't have to like what I eat. You don't have to like what I play. I'm gonna eat it and I'm gonna play it. So there it goes. So yeah, so I've enjoyed this 30 plus hours. I've enjoyed the overall design of what they're trying to do here, and I want to kind of get into it. And we're going to start off with the PvE stuff, because there's a lot to get into. First and foremost, I'm a huge fan of the original 3 games story and the universe, right? So you're going to an alien planet and you're dealing with AI. It's pretty amazing. There's like rogue AI, the rando. I'm not going to get into the whole story, but basically it's pretty well made. And then they took that and they said, you know what, we're going to make you a cyborg character whose original conscious gets transferred over and over into these cyborg shells, aka these runners. And so that is the core of the regular gameplay, but there's a big universe and stories unfolding as you play. I mean, a lot of cool stuff. I'm talking about, like, just doing faction missions. I'm learning about the lore and the story of what's been happening and what is happening and what's going on with these different factions, and how that plays a role in your life as a runner, and the way that you're caught up in the middle, and then the way the whole world is dealing with it. The whole galaxy, I would say, is dealing with things, and how important it is for you to get in there, loot, and get out for continuation. And so yeah, it's an interesting concept in my opinion, and I'm excited to kind of go through that. Now, most people that I've played with, and I played with a lot of randoms while on this alpha, I've asked them, very carefully. Hey man, how do you feel about this story? Most of them don't have an idea of what I just told you. They're like, well, I don't know. There's no story. I'm just playing, man. Like, what? And it was kind of weird, but I think Bungie has to figure out how to present this more authentically to them. Maybe people didn't watch a cinematic trailer. Maybe they don't know about, in-game information of the previous 3 games. And, there's a lot of things. So I would just employ them to figure out how to make it more engaging for new people that are interested. And yeah. And so you're going to be watching me here play with 2 random people. I kind of joke around with these guys, and it was pretty hilarious, actually. Started making friends with them, and they got on the microphone like, hey man, you sound cool, dude, let's play together. And I just goofing off at the start of the mission and made some friends with them. One of the guys wanted a PvE, the other guy wanted a PvP, and I'm in the middle because I'm down for both. And that was the biggest thing, is that this game is designed, it can let you go PvE, which is a compliment to the game, because extraction shooters do have that type of feel where you can get out there and kind of just grind for some things. And it is a really good design when it comes to specific things to make people want to grind. And it kind of felt like I was playing a co-op game at some points, because some people didn't want to fight nobody. They just wanted to get their loot, do their missions, and get out every time. And I don't mind that. But I do think that can hurt the game as well, because the excitement of other players and fighting is a big part of these games. And so I personally didn't appreciate, the player side of just like, no, I don't want to fight nobody. But I understand it. And I want to jump into the factions very quickly. The one thing I love about the factions, they have a lot of cool different missions, and it could be interesting. It's like, hey, go here, go there, go to this specific location. It's amazing. The problem is it divides the players. So a lot of the players I played with, one guy wanted to go south, the other guy wanted to go north, and everybody's arguing and people are splitting up. Especially if you're solo queuing, you're going to go through a lot of this where people just want to do their mission. They don't care about you or what you're trying to do. And this is unfortunate, and it's a developer issue, because they could make it so that people can switch their contracts on the fly to match other players. And also, if I help another player finish this, I should get all of these rewards at the same time as him. Getting something, right? I'm just saying, getting something way more, like bigger, better, that's incentivizing me to say, let's work together. And if you can do that, it'll be great. It lets you see what other people's missions are in the game, but that doesn't mean people are going to care. What has to happen is that I can just do like I'm doing here, switch, and then pick one that fits everybody. And then just get that. And then have multiple of them, because sometimes you won't be able to do everything. It's better if they allowed it to be multiple. Whether it's 3 or more would be great. That's one of my biggest things when it comes to these. Okay. And then that goes into the upgrades. The upgrades are some of the most amazing. And this is where, you're motivated to make your backpack bigger. You're motivated to upgrade certain things, being able to move better, being able to enhance your shields. There's plenty of things to try to figure out on what you would want. And this is a cool feature. My thing is, and the question I have is this going to get wiped every single season, which is 3 months is what Bungie was talking about. If that's the case, this might hurt the game, in my opinion, because who's going to play and have to regrind all these items all over again, right? Meanwhile, they also empty out your vault. So just imagine you overload this vault, and this can go all the way down here. You overload this vault, that's going to get wiped, which is natural for all extraction shooters. But on top of that, your faction's progression gets killed, which is probably what they're planning, and they hasn't been given a word about the factions specifically. But I'm just curious on how this will play, and this is going to be all for the end game. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because end game is going to be very important for the PvE players who are trying to play this game, and they might keep the game alive. Maybe the PvP players won't like the game as much because it has so much grind for PvE that it detracts people from playing properly, focusing on PvP. And so I bring that up because I also have hunted down enemies. I would get in the map, kit it out, and run to different points of interest, and I could not find players. And I went to 4 in one map and could not find a player. And this is an alpha, so I'm not going to complain. But the main point there is that for PvP, it felt like I couldn't get a lot of action sometimes. And then on top of that, there were times where I would load into a map, and within 30 to 60 seconds or less, I would be battling another team, and then a third team will show up pretty quickly as well. So that was a weird thing. And don't get it twisted, I play battle royale games and I love it. Please feel free to let that be consistent. But it wasn't consistent enough. And it was like I would go drive for hours and only see AI. And then there'll be times where it'll be that crazy. And I don't think that's a good enough balance to keep PvP players engaged. And so it's a tough task, I'm gonna be honest, for extraction shooters to excel, but it is doable. And so personally, I'm interested to see where they can go with that and how they, enhance that. And to talk about enhancing stuff, one of the biggest things is the sponsored kits. I don't know, for those that are watching, I'm expecting you to know a little bit about the game. But these sponsor kits right here that you can get from the black market cost $300, which is pretty cheap. I've gone in there and wiped out 2 players, reloaded, had my teammate take out the third, and that's cool. This is amazing, and we need more of this kind of thing in here because you don't want to have to suffer if you're not doing well. So there were nights where I didn't have good nights, and there were other nights I came out like a bandit. And the point of what I'm making behind that is that there's some weapons in here that need to be so powerful that you don't want to put on this sponsored kit. This is good to have, but you're probably not going to do crazy numbers and one-shot people unless you have the sniper, where you're going to go ahead and one-shot everybody because it has whatever, upgraded version that's super powerful. So balancing that is a big thing, and I want to see that in the future and how that would play out. I just think it's important to kind of make sure that it's good. And I want to kind of take a note to talk about loadouts. This is amazing. I do feel like you can make your own play style with the cores and the implants, and it's just fun to see that, Extraction Shooter has some elements that can be very exciting and interesting on top of the abilities. The fact that the cooldowns are so long, I'm not a fan of it, but I can say if you want to be a tactical game, do not add something that I do think is a big problem in the game, and that is the fact that you're going to sit here and you're going to end up downing a player, and this is what's been happening, whether I down them or they down me, they will camp the bag because they know that the person can come back anytime. And then those player who loses their teammate, they'll run off and rat out for 10 to 15 minutes of the match, waiting for you to get bored and leave the area from camping, which slows the game down and turns it into a camp fest, and it's kind of tedious on every aspect. And this is something that a lot of battle royale games fixed by putting timers. So you ain't gonna be able to revive somebody after 2 minutes or whatever timer Bungie puts in is the best idea that I can throw forward. Whether it's Call of Duty, Apex, and things like that, they have a system where, like, if you fully down someone out, there's a timer. You can go pick up their card and then revive them somewhere or buy them back or something. And there has to be a system like that instead of what we have now. And I know they're probably not going to change this, but for the developers, if anybody sends this to them, y'all got to change it. It's just my opinion. But because it is not good for the game. It's something that's hurting the game drastically, at least in my opinion. And so that's not something that's beta testing necessary. Like, we know it now. Like, the community knows it. What is beta testing is how many players are on the map. I'm questioning whether it was the alpha or just the way it's designed. You didn't get a lot of those actions, as I was saying. So the player density has to get higher, and as well as like matchmaking. The reason I'm bringing all that up is because with matchmaking, they said that they're going to do who has the most time and XP will get matchmade together. I disagree with that because there's going to be people who are PvE players who spend 15 hours a day playing the game and basically ratting out the whole time, killing a couple AIs and escaping as much as possible. And they're going to be the highest level out of everybody in the game, but they're not going to be any good. And then they're going to face against top players. They're going to face against, the best out there who are getting kills. And the best thing to do is to make it PvP rating. So if you put out the most damage and you wipe out lobbies of players consistently, the game can track, okay, he's taking out a lot of players, and every engagement that he faces a player, he's winning the fight. So he's one of the most skilled. He has to go up against those kind of players as well. Now, this is skill-based matchmaking to a certain extent, but there has to be something in there. Now, I understand for the casual entry, there shouldn't be anything, but when it comes to ranked and when it comes to other things like that, we got to find systems that can work to make it somewhat fair in some way. That's just how I feel. And it's not necessarily a conversation about like skill-based matchmaking, because that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that since there's a PvE elements, people can assume to be great, and you're putting them together. So it's kind of like an even worse skill-based matchmaking, in my opinion. That's just how I feel. But yeah, so there's that, and we'll see how that goes and where that stands. Audio seems like it has a couple of issues to work out, and then the outside environment was kind of lackluster compared to this inside stuff that's very detailed. I'm sure the developers are like, yeah, we're gonna work on that, we're gonna fix it, and so on, and things like that, and we'll see. And so talking about the rest, and I just kind of want to point out one thing that's kind of weird is the grind system for upgrading. Like I was saying, it's kind of killing the game, turning it into a PvE only just to get a bigger vault. I was out there like, you know what, I'm not even gonna fight nobody. I just want to get this synthetic rubber. I just want to get this, whatever the case was that was in the game. And I think that the developers have to make that more streamlined and more not easy, but more fun and engaging. And then instead of like having to find one synthetic rubber in multiple hours, like that is not a good look. And so yeah, there's that. And then so not to kind of talk about my impressions and opinions, I do think the worry is that this is going to be a generic season pass game. So there was a couple games that released recently that had this pattern of like, yeah, by the way, every season you'll get a new character and a new weapon and a new map. Enjoy. And then it's very formulaic and it's not exciting anymore. I've already seen that in every game. And it's like, you're not doing anything that's exciting. So I would hope they do things like a raid, which I threw the idea out. I might make a video about it again. Basically, a Destiny style raid with PvP in it. Now, you don't fight a boss while another team is there. You can work together to fight a boss, but then after you fight each other. Or, as you do the puzzle, a team can enter and you'll be notified, and everybody's working on securing the area, and whoever wins moves to the next location, things like that, as a somewhat of a raid. So like a very interesting place to be, but PvP as well. And I think that'll be fun since Destiny knows how to make these levels and to make them interesting. And that can add something. Like I'm coming back to play it for that. Maybe I gave up on the game a little bit and I've only played once in a while if a friend asked me to. Now that would bring me back. And that is my thing about like longevity. Where does this stand? Personally, I'm excited to play this. I give it a solid 8. I think that there's high quality elements on this. I mean, like just the mission designs, some of the map elements, some of the menu stuff, you can tell it's high quality. You can tell that Bungie's putting in work. The gunplay feels really good. Glitch movement is amazing, by the way. But at the same time, as I said, you're literally trying to do two things at once. It can't be made just for casuals. You know, you got to have some hardcore elements to it as well. And I don't think they've fully mapped that out. So hopefully they can change, you know, for example, when someone's down, making it a little more fluid, different things like that. This is my general feedback and thoughts and opinions. I got way more to talk about. Probably make a post on like Reddit or Discord or something. But hopefully this gave some information to those that are curious, like, hey, am I gonna play this? I do think this could be fire. And it does have legs, whether it's the PvE side, a lot of very cool things to explore, story to uncover, and kind of just grind out missions and upgrade and all that. And then also the PvP can be really exciting when it does pop off. So yeah. All right, thank y'all guys for watching. Somebody, if y'all know the devs, send this to them, man. Let them know. Let them get that info, man. I appreciate y'all. Y'all stay safe out there. We'll talk soon. Take care of yourself. See y'all on the next one. Stay blessed. Peace.